In this episode, I fight off the midges,
all over here.
gasp at the sheer beauty of this place,
Follow
nearly
me.
lose my
Go
draw,
on.
ride many more hills, take in many jaw-dropping sceneries and sights, and finally end the day in another amazing camp spot with an extra person.
Wow, what a fast descent down there.
What a place to stay this was.
I can see some midges. Currently trying to pack away. Yeah, and the midges have come out. Little gets, they're all over here.
Even we had to be eaten to pay the price for it. We packed up quickly as possible, shoes still in our tents, but needs had to come first.
Anti-midget clothing still deployed, including trousers. Just leaving here now.
We ate breakfast by the road. We also wanted to take in the sights at this beauty spot one last time before starting off, and spent a little time looking for Clashnessie fall from the air. This was always planned to be the longest day for us. The weather outlook was superb in distance and elevation, but with riding the extra miles the previous evening we were slightly ahead. Garmin's Climb Pro had 25 registered climbs for the day, some small and some not. We had already accumulated over 254 miles and 17,000 feet of climbing over the last 3 days, so we were over halfway. It was straight into twisty and hilly roads, a continuation of what we experienced the previous day, and something that would continue for many miles. Relentlessly up and down. Some hills had severe kickers, just to give you the reality check now and again.
That's us leaving our lovely little camp spot from last night. Back on the road. Big day, maybe about 90 miles today to do. And we'll see where we end up. Climb 3 of 25 today. It's going to be a long one. That's me done with the follow me function on the drone. I just ran back up this hill about half an mile to go get the drone before it got run over. Nutter. Follow me. Go on. Actual telephone in a telephone box.
For quite a few miles we're on these narrow single lanes. There was something to see around each bend. It was peaceful and the scenery was interesting. Interesting enough to distract from the relentless ups and downs.
Doing a lot of this sweat malarkey. Salty eyes.
By this point our bodies had adjusted well to riding fully laden bikes up these hills. We were both feeling strong. My routine was to take it easy on the flats and downhills. Keep the same power on the inclines, keeping within comfortable levels. It was harder to maintain on roads such as these, but it was possible. Soon we had a reality check when things started to get a little harder with some silly gradients. Wolfy was first to brake, and I didn't hesitate to make him feel better.
Can't even walk up here. Yeah. Sometimes when you've got 81 miles still to do, and another 9,000 feet of elevation, needs must. And today, this is allowed.
These gradients were not too long, but they were not fit for a fully laden bike. So we done what was right rather than what our egos told us. The hills in the distance were in sight for many hours, riding towards them, past them, and looping back on ourselves to see them once again. One would think we'd been riding in circles. We'd made it to the main road and were approaching the Kylesku Bridge. The morning's hills and my bad admin stole quite a bit of our time, and had only covered a mere 16 miles up to this point. But we still took time to admire the bridge and the views. We were treated. The sun was out in its full glory, so it was not rude to compliment this moment with a Haribo treat. And yes, we'll greet to more inclines when we set off once again.
Climb 9 of 25, now complete.
We stopped in Scourie at a convenience store, grabbed food and packed it away for later. We took the option to have a second breakfast by the way of a crusty bacon roll with bark pudding. We ended up there chatting to a motorcyclist on his own adventure before moving on.
14% done. Nice bloody baking. Whoa. Like every other wild wolf, he's been wearing the same clothes since we started. I don't think he's been washed. He's a smelly old bugger. Let's have a look at him. Yeah, stick it in the comments what you think. The old crusty.
Climb was the first of two longer climbs of the day, at about 4 miles in length. My Garmin was only looking at part of it.
I think we're just getting in that waterfall right now. Oh, I bet it's fresh. Cool.
Our elapsed time for the day at this point was around 6.5 hours, including stops. And we'd only covered just over 41 miles, but we were not in a rush. The summit was reached, then we rode alongside the lake. Then we were treated to about an 8-mile descent, heading towards Durness.
Making the most of the descent. Descent finished. Beautiful road this, but it's only wide enough for one car. Very few nice drivers, probably the best way of putting it. A lot of arrogant people just think they can push you out of the way, which is a shame because everyone's here to enjoy the scenery, and why would you be in a rush along such a beautiful road? So there we go. Getting close to the coast again. Very peaceful here. Nice sandy beach.
We stopped in Durness to eat, all because Wolfy was craving an ice cream. Well, it was sunny and he had worked hard, so why not?
All I can hear is that cuckoo again. He's over there somewhere cuckooing. That's climb 17 of 25 done. We're making progress right in the north coast now. I'm going to hug it for a little bit and then go inland. I'm just looking at the spectacular sights which are behind me.
Our next leg seen us heading south for around 8 miles just to turn north again. Had there been a bridge over that lock, we wouldn't have had to suffer what was coming our way.
Just working into a headwind down here. So yeah, not on a hill, but still having to work hard.
We made a turn and started to go north once again. At least heading in this direction we no longer had a headwind. But that, as we're about to find out, would be short-lived. But the wind was a small price to pay for having such glorious weather. On this road, more elevation was yet to be tackled, and the second long climb of the day wasn't too far away. But we kept moving, enjoying each moment as it came.
Next climb. You know, goats don't always have 4 legs. I mean, look at me, the hill climber, and then whatever he is behind me, the half man, half beast, the wolf. Climb 19 of 25, coming 10%. It's very warm. It's peaceful up here, but it's bloody windy.
bloody windy.
It's a strong bloody wind that. Just pulled up into a place called Tongue. It's been relentless headwind to get to this point. We've got about 15 miles left, quite a bit of elevation. Wolfy's just gone in to see if he can get some food and drinks for us just to push the final bit today. Very, very tough day. Yes, it's warm. When you're doing these big hills, sweating all the time, can't get the fluids in. So currently, very dehydrated. Been drinking water all day and I just want a full fat Coke. Had some full fat Coke, rocket fuel.
It was a really tough old day by this point, and that stop was much needed, but we had a rendezvous to make in Bettyhill. If we missed it, we'd be going hungry tonight. Our progress was just enough to be on the right side of not making it.
Climb 22 of 25, just about complete now. Last climb is coming up shortly. Penultimate here. Right, one more climb. Going into Bettyhill next. Gonna have some food and might even have a drink. Ain't me. But today's been a tough one. Wow, what a fast descent out there. We've got 2 miles to go to Bettyhill. Just making the most of these downhills. Wow. Love it.
To Bettyhill with just enough time to spare. The food was exactly where I needed. It was a great place to stop. The staff were chatty. They also allowed us to charge our electronic devices. After eating, we ended up chatting to another cyclist in there, Simon. It was his penultimate day of riding Land's End to John O'Groats. We formed a bond and chewed the fat. We needed rest and it was downhill from the cafe. And there it was. Perfect, apart from having to kick some sheep droppings out of the way. We all pitched up for the night, and that was the end of the packed out day. Another amazing place with an even better sunset. In this episode, I wake up thinking of retirement. We ride with Simon for a bit. We experience some of the quiet inland roads and hills. We then swap Simon for Matthew. I see the most amazing herd of deer imaginable, has some Scottish sunshine, and I ended finding my old camp spot by the river Shin, complete with a Midgie saga.